I want to start with the Senate race. I got a text today saying Greg Tarver was in trouble. That's why all these lawsuits. You believe that?
Well, if you're an incumbent and you draw three competitors, you're certainly not happy about the race you're looking forward to.
So this doesn't surprise you?
Well, I think the issue with Greg, I like his chances to get reelected, even in the field of four. But when you look at the race, Greg normally counts on a lot of the white Republican voters in North Caddo Parish. They realize the seat's going to probably be an African-American Democrat, and in the end, they go with Greg. But when you look at the first round, if he's got two African-American challengers in the city,
Strong
as we say,
ones, yeah.
and he's got a Republican male running up in the country, he could get sliced and diced in the primary and not make it through. If he makes it through, I like his chances. But Greg's going to first of all see if he can eliminate his competitors. The last time this was tried that I remember was Dr. Raymond Hicks filed against Roy Burrell a couple years ago. Would have been 4 or 8 years based on the date. And there was Roy Burrell challenged President Hicks's residency and won. And that Burrell went on to run unopposed. And I think Greg's looking at the first step. If I can get rid of a challenger now, why wouldn't I?
Well, let me bring folks up to date. He filed suit against Barbara Norton, challenger number one, saying that she doesn't live in the district. There may, in fact, be something to that. That ruling is expected, and it would kick her out of the race.
I understand that's Friday morning.
It's expected before the week's over. Now, there's another suit also. Bring us up to date there.
Yeah, he filed suit against Shantae Wells, who's a new, very popular face in the political world, saying he doesn't live in the district.
Yeah, Shantae Wells is a young attorney, as you mentioned, very popular, sort of up and coming. In the end, this will be interesting. It probably works well for Greg either way. He gets to go to court and has a free shot, not counting his legal costs, but a free shot to eliminate one or two of his major competitors. Even if he loses in the court, it probably still helps him in the political race because he gets to point out these people may or may not live in the district. Even if the court legally says they are domiciled, the key is going to be domicile versus residence. It has a political fallout of these people maybe playing games with their residences.
Let me ask you this, because we asked Senator Tarver this yesterday. He doesn't live in the city of Shreveport, but he votes in the mayor's race because he has property on Pier Avenue. Legally, I guess he can do that, but it seems to be like, it's a little shady to me, too.
Well, and the address he used for filing for the Senate race was the Pier Avenue address, which has been his traditional address. I think he gave his defense yesterday. I did hear your show yesterday. I was traveling. He is domiciled in the Senate district, always has been, lived in the Senate district his whole life. The mayor's race is a different issue, and I'm not a lawyer. I can't explain how it works backwards the other way.
Right.
But Greg has done it openly. He's been challenged on it before by you and by others, and so apparently he is legal to do that. He's chosen to vote at one of his residences, but he has domicile across the lake, which is also in Senate 39.
Right.
That same issue will be here. It's not always where you vote. It's where you're domiciled, and you have to legally establish a domicile.
Okay.
Jeff Sato wrote an article earlier this week, I think it was at thehayride.com, said that all these sort of outliers getting into the governor's race could, in fact, have an effect, a negative effect on John Bell's chances. What do you think about that? What is the status of that right now?
I read Dr. Sato's piece. He always is very interesting, very good. He's very, very learned man. I think he makes some very good points. There are a couple of folks, there are 9 candidates by my count that actually filed for governor, not just the 3 that we all know, the 3 major ones. There are 6 other minor candidates. And so I don't disagree with Dr. Sato's piece. I think there are a couple that could hurt him. There is a Vinny Mendoza who's running as a Hispanic male. That's what he is.
There's one, and I don't remember the name.
And then there's Gary Landrieu, who's running as an independent. He is of the Landrieu family. I think the key, though, and what I would point out in counter to Dr. Sato's piece, he is correct. John Bell may lose some votes to the independent or Democratic names on the ballot, but by my count, there's also 3 other Republicans on the ballot. And so the same thing that would happen perhaps to John Bell, losing a little bleed-out vote to some random Democrats on the ballot, there's 3 other Republicans on the ballot as well, besides the 2 major opponents. So in the end, it's probably a wash.
I don't remember the candidate's name. I know he was a South Louisiana guy who the point that Dr. Jeff made was pretty far left of John Bell. And the concern was that could siphon off a lot of more dare I say, radically left Democrats. Do you think that's really a concern?
I'm not really concerned for John Bell on that issue. I think John Bell's got larger issues with Abram and with Risponi and the ad war. The problem with minor candidates is I don't care how far right or left they are. If they don't have the means to put their message out, no one's going to know that besides a few very learned and observing people. So in the end, I think 6 of these candidates don't really matter in a governor's race. Collectively, they may get 5 or 6%. We're looking at a 3-person race. We're looking at the fact of, can John Bell get over 51% on this first round? That's the key thing to watch.
Do you think he can? And bring us up to date on your thoughts on the Republican side, Risponi and Abraham.
Well, for Shreveport listeners, I think we're looking at a race very akin to the mayor's race last fall. I think you have a front runner, John Bell Edwards. Can he get to 51%? Today, I say yes. I think if the election were held today, I think he gets 51% and he wins the governorship again. But the election's not today. The election is going to be about $10 million from now on an ad buy on radio and TV. And so the question is going to be, what does Abraham and Risponi do? I think Abraham, who's the least funded of the three, ironically, he's the better known Republican, but he's a congressman, but he's the least funded, and he waited late. He let Risponi get out. He let Risponi establish himself, and Risponi's got, the last I saw, at least 3-to-1 funds on Abraham. So what happens? Do the Republicans fight each other? Remember, one of them has to make the runoff. We're talking about Edwards maybe winning outright. That's his best chance. But at minimum, one of those guys has to come in second. And so Abraham has to be careful. He can't just attack John Bell. He has to ensure he gets up to second place.